Welcome back. While the audio was saving on my hard drive, I found the problem right here. So this is how it looked. If you look at the previous video, this is how it looked before. Um, it was using this counter. Well, got a line stuck there. Okay, it was using that counter, and you notice that that counter is referring to this counter using 79 as the initial value. That's not what we wanted. We wanted to, and which is why we got this out of bounds exception error. See, it starts at 79, 78, 77. It wants to continue going down. Don't know why this does that. It wants to continue going down all the way to 0. No, we want it to start in the string character array at 2, go to 1, go to 0, and then just stop there. So we need, I basically just did a little typo. So counter 2 is changing this here to counter 2, fixes everything. So as you will see, play, or run, I should really say. And you see the debug statement's working perfectly. And it's printing out this is the character, this is the array position, and that's the character that's being stored in it. And also I do want to point something out about characters that's going to come out later. Oh, and yeah, let me go with this character thing first, because I just closed my tab, because it's going to be a big issue later on. So in storing things as characters are associated numbers through what's called an ASCII table. So let me I'm not going to draw the table, but if you look it up online, you're going to see something like this: a bunch of columns and rows, and it trust me, it looks nothing like this, but I just want to get the point across. So let's say this was, let's just assume, just for the heck of it, that this was column 5 and this was row 6. I know, just, but this has the letter A in it, alright, and it goes on 7, 8, 9, yeah, basically it stops there, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So then it will continue here, B, C, D. And you notice that this is for capital letters only. They have a whole nother set for lowercase letters. If we go down the ASCII table to row, let's say this is row 9. So did I skip a number here? Yeah, I skipped 7. That's 8. And then you'd have a 9th row. Oh man, I'm out of it or something. That would have E. So let's see. The lowercase a is on the 9th row under the 7th column. So that would be there. So what we're seeing here is that A is associated with row and column, that this is the way it's kind of organized. So this is 65, capital B is 66, capital C 67. We don't have this conflict right now going on because let me collapse this, because we earlier what we did was we changed this to a string. At some point all of these became strings. Even if you inserted a double or an integer, it became a string and converted whatever the number was into a character, basically a character array. So we don't have to worry about converting anything when we're taking the character from here and sticking it in here. But there will be a point where we have to be worried about that, and we'll have to make a switch method to switch between, let's say, an integer and a character properly. So just want to keep that in mind. Also wanted to discuss the whole reason I created this debug method is because I want to be able to turn it on and off. So I'm going to create an if statement here, if debug, and then it's just going to launch that based on this, whether this is on or off. So on, it comes up. If you press false and we hit play, nothing shows up in the terminal. Alright, so let's move on. So we have, basically we are now capable of setting the digital character array. Let's see, let me ponder what will be the next step. Okay, I want to continue perfecting what I have here in terms of setting the digital character array. I just want to perfect it. First of all, we have, let's see, let me go into my whiteboard mode. So we have a successful digital character array, and let me use red for now because I'm more comfortable with red for whatever reason. So let me just throw that in there. So I have 1, 2, 3, and now we have these other slots all the way to slot 0, from 79 to slot 0, with nothing in them. Or actually what they would have in them, I believe, is a null character. Null. And I'm just going to stick in capital N because I don't feel like writing it over and over again. So I don't want this to have nulls. I want it to have zeros. Why? Matter of preference, I just prefer having zeros in there. So in terms of initializing this in the first place, I want this to have all zeros. So let me go to private void set digit character array to 0. And this doesn't need any parameters, you just call it and it sets. So we're going to have a for loop. I'm going to have it a counter. We could use the same counter here. It's going to go from let's see, 79 to 0. So in fact we can use this here, except of course it's going to be counter 0, and each and every time this counter is going to decrement by 1. Alright, so we're going to take this, and here is our first little issue. Setting 0. Well, that could actually no 0. We could just do that. I was thinking of trying to stick in. You might be inclined to go ahead and type the number 0 here. 0 is not the same thing as character 0. So you have to keep in mind you have to do that to indicate that this is a specific character, because otherwise it would stick null or something, some other weird thing. Yeah, it would stick in the null character into the digit character array. And this, again, this is preference. You could keep the null character in there if you want, but I choose having 0. I just prefer it. So let's see, I have that set up, and now let me make sure my constructor is doing that first. Right. So now set my character array to 0. I find the length of it, then I'm looking at here, so set 0, so find the length, set the character array itself, and I think now I'm going to consider positive and negative numbers. I'll do that in the next video. I'm sorry that maybe I'm going a bit slow with this. I'll try to speed up the next few videos. This way you're not hearing me ramble on so much. So I'm going to go ahead and start introducing the ability for me to go in here and be able to stick in a positive number or a negative number. See you in the next video.